unraveling the divine mystery of life. You know, I was told quite some time ago my horse would come back to me. There was one in my childhood, this big, tall, beautiful Pinto, when I was just a tiny little small fry. I had to park him next to a tree to give him even get on his back. But oh, baby, he'd put up with anything and take you anywhere you wanted to go, any way you wanted to go. He was an instant command too, man. He didn't screw around. All you'd have to do, you'd be running like the wind, alongside a hayfield or something, you just say, okay, baby, slow down, or whoa is what you really say. But, I like that, hippie sort of way, But anyway, he perfectly knew just what you wanted him to do. Bingo, it was done, man, And no more run. Now we're just down there, whoop, da-dup, 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 steady on the trail, baby. Well, doggone, I'll tell you what, that horse and I were so attached. And I tried to buy it away from the people that owned it. They just loaned it to me every now and then. So I got to ride it for a few years between the ages of like maybe 4 and 8, something like that. And then they did something, moved it or something, and I never saw it again, poor thing. But I was promised way back when that, this animal would come back to me, in my later days. And when I did, I mean, the journey was like, wow, getting close to being where it ought to be. So, man, yesterday I'm cruising down this old gravel road, man. I got to go run the back roads because I like doing that. It's the scenic route, And anyway, I just happened to see this animal, and he sees me going by. So I stopped my little automobile. There's no traffic out there, so I backed up a little bit, pulled it off the road, and go over and say hello to the horsey, man. It's like, wow, he and I are connected, man. It feels like that same little spirit animal I used to ride when I was a kid. Saved my bacon. I'll tell you, that animal was just so connected and so real and so right there with me as a child that, wow, I mean, there's not many really horses that have been handled by humans. Now, thank goodness there are some, but they're rare, the ones that can be handled by a child, or that, a child should even attempt to ride, especially a little tiny punk like me back in those days. Well, I was growing like a weed, but I was still tiny, I tell you. Compared to that animal, man, I felt like a corpuscle on his barnacles on his toenails there. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? But oh, he was a sweetheart. He taught me about the elegance of horse when I was just a little teeny kid, man, and what that could really mean and how well you could work together with that energy, that feeling, that flow. Now, I couldn't have described it like that as a child, don't you know, but I sure could these days now, can I? Because I understand it in a whole lot different way. Well, there he was, just standing there at the fence, in this big, old, huge lot, I'd call it, acreage, let's say. Not really pasture because it's mostly sagebrush, but he seemed to find enough to eat out there. He was in really good shape, and the only worst thing was he had black flies all over him, biting the poo-poo out of him, poor kid. But anyway, I had no shelter from the storm that I could see. Ooh, that was not good. But he and I connected there, I don't do that with somebody else's horse. I mean, it's rare that I would ever I'll stop and talk to him sometimes just for fun, because I like doing that. And they like it too, they like connection. But this guy just called to my heart, and I couldn't say no. I walk over to the fence, and he sniffs me down, and next thing you know, we're nuzzling each other's shoulders. And, he's hugging right up to me, and he's just like so happy to see me, and I'm so happy to be reconnecting with that energy again. Well, I tried not to overdo it, because again, it's somebody's animal out there in the strange pastures that I don't even know, so I mean, it's not very appropriate to mess around with other people's animals, but I just couldn't help it. I just felt so right, I even took a picture of him and posted it on Facebook this morning and said, wow, it sure be sweet if he and I could ride those trails again. I like the high trails, man. So does he, man. And he's a steady on his feet, no matter how narrow that trail gets or how rugged. He's just an amazing critter, As a child, I'm talking about now, that little Pinto back then. Well, this is a Pinto too, but very different coloration. But oh my goodness, his vibe is high. Now, if you haven't gone over to my Facebook page this morning, my personal one, maybe I'll post it over on Spring Crick or something too. I think I will, just in case you're not an official member over there of, Grandpa's Facebook page. But you can still see it anyway. I don't hide. All my stuff is public. I don't hide nothing, Not on Facebook. I know better shit. The NSA, the CIA, they all got it down already, So why hide it, Privacy is an illusion on the internet. For real. But guess what, babies? We're not going to let them steal the internet. We're moving now, right now, energetically, on the back of that pale horse of love. It looks a whole lot like that pinto down there in that pasture. Ooh, gosh, I got to go see him again, too, before I leave town. He'll get out on the road again, yeah. I'm going up to Devil's Tower, Wyoming, baby. We're taking the show on the road this week, or next week, Well, Devil's Tower in Wyoming, for a little gathering called the Star Family Gathering, which has a lot of indigenous folks up there giving us medicine, and a lot of other folks sharing the medicine, and a lot of other folks mojoing up the mojo medicine, Maybe we'll see, some kind of representation of Richard Dreyfuss there, making clay models of the Devil's Tower, and, bringing in the da-da-da-da-da. We play that, at the end of every show these days. And you know why, babies? We're calling in our relatives, Not just friends from those high places, but our relatives. It's time for a real Star Family gathering. So maybe that's happening up there in Wyoming. Maybe that's happening where you are. Maybe that's happening here in Crestonia. But whatever we do up there is going to be fun now, wouldn't you say? I'd say, because you get a good tribe together and good things happen no matter what. So if you're free this weekend and it's all a week-long event, 8 days, man, Saturday to Saturday. So it starts on June 3. If you got a little loose time and you're in the vicinity or can get there without having to knock yourself out, well, that'd be a good thing to do. Maybe I'll see you there. We'll talk to you on the radio or on the video and put it on the radio, whatever we can do here, okay? Let's just get this thing underway and get it rocking just right, and feel that we feel so light, we feel like our wings are spreading, man, and, we can take flight anytime we want. And then we can join our buddies up in the atmosphere where our big old cloud cities are, dear. Do you remember any of that? Yeah, you might. At some point in this day-to-day, this thrilling Thursday, you might just get the thrill of the first century of your life by remembering the cloud cities we used to hang out in, man. They're pretty cool, really, man. And if you don't like the way they look right now, change them around. If they ain't comfortable, you don't have to call a contractor. You are the contractor, baby. And you don't have to make deals with yourself either. You just let it flow through, and the heart makes it real. The more we attribute ourselves to the heart, the more the heart produces, the more we allow it to, in other words. Because, see, we've been programmed again, our own hearts, man, our own cosmic intelligence, our own worthy truth, let's say, which is love is everything, and we are the love that creates. You see? Yeah, we live in what we create. But it's not like they tell you, oh, your thoughts create, baby. You think something bad, you're going to get bad. You think something good, you're going to get... Well, that's kind of a flow. It's kind of how it goes. Kind of. That's not the mind. See, the mind gets all... That's what you call ego. When the mind's separate from everything else, trying to figure things out. And you might have a real brilliant one with a high QI, you know what I mean? But still, it's dry, analytical. It doesn't work too well all by itself. We've learned to adapt and adjust and so forth. So we get something out of it, of course. And look at this, we stay alive. But that's the heart consciousness. The thing that makes you breathe when you don't think about it, the thing that keeps your heart beating and going, and all the little cells and atoms dancing around, rocking and rolling, even when you're feeling all depressed and sitting there by the creek saying, okay, sunshine, make me happy again. And it does. Next thing you know, you got a butterfly up your nose, and he's really cute, and you don't want to hurt him, but you got to get him out of there. It tickles, man. What are you going to do? Well, baby, you're going to dream it, and you're going to smooch on that little butterfly in a metaphysical sense, and it will just like, instead of crawling up your nose, it'll crawl on your nose and say, hey, baby, give you a little kiss right there on the end of your little nosers, and be fluttering on its way. And your little heart will go right with it today, man, and it'll raise you up and bring you around, man. Oh, hummingbird, yeah, well, that's a humming butterfly, isn't it? Yeah, baby, see, that's the way it works. When you let the magic come in to the 3D, you just have to get out of your own way, babies, because like I say, we've been programmed again day after day, moment to moment. You don't do that, don't you dare, don't you, it's all like crazy shit. Makes us want to feel empty and try to fill that emptiness all the time with all kinds of superficial shit that don't do it. Just ask anybody that's at the top of the heap or the bottom of it after they've been to the top. They know. I mean, everybody does. Anybody that's done it once or twice in their life, maybe struck gold here or there, they know. They know better, you know. The only way to live real and right is to provide great services for others. And if you got great wealth, that's why you got it. So you can be generous with to a fault with all the humans on earth, man. And give back what you've taken in a big way. So you didn't take anything, you know, but, you know, just the fact that you hoarded up a whole bunch automatically makes about 3 billion people living in starvation conditions and often dying from it. Not to mention all the little diseases and shit your little minions go and spread around. I mean, come on. You guys are so disgusting and so arrogant. This is unreal. Yet, we know the emptiness that you feel. And we know it can't be filled, and it never will be, no matter how much you steal from us, you know, or how bad you make our living conditions. That ain't going to make you happy. It's only going to make you worse, right? Well, yeah, if you were to get away with such a thing, we'd see our creative heart, which is the real conscious presence inside of us, that isn't expressed so much in thought. Through thought, it does create, but it's thought that originates in a feeling inside of yourself, what in the center of yourself, what I call the heart, where all of your energies join together as a singular conscious presence, undivided in any way. I mean, you can't divide life from life. You just can't. You can't even categorize. This is this, that is that, that is that. Well, babies, you know, then you're just walking the backwards trail. But when you just see it for what it is and let it flow the way it does, guess what? It gets a lot more symphonic. Yeah, pretty soon you start to hear the divine harmony of the heart, the song of the heart. And that's the song of creation. And that's how we sing it into being. That's why rock and roll is part of the reintegration of your heart and soul. And why you need this medicine here on this crazy little Coyote medicine show we call Spring Crick, don't you know, here on the Hazy Radio Network. Oh, baby, radio. Like you ain't never heard it before, 'cause it's multi-dimensional. Don't believe me? Take a listen here to our little buddy's Quiet Right. And let's just see, okay? Because I think these guys know the way, don't you? Well, you're going to know it pretty quick, ain't you? Oh yeah, shining that glow to get you in the flow here on the Hazy Radio Network. From 9,000 feet high in the Rocky Mountain sky, you got that guy. Yeah. Oh, Grandpa Pedro Koyote, as they say in the Spanish and Mexican sort of way. Here in French Fry, Arizona, they call me, you know, something else I'm not going to say, okay? Oh, thank you for yesterday. Thank you for today. Thank you for tomorrow, too, because it's all happening right here in this moment of time, where we step outside of time and call it quite divine. Yeah, that moment where everything begins, where the glow gets in the flow. Always the sun, don't you know, that motivates the water of life to flow, man. Otherwise, no life. You see, take sunlight, make it right. Don't it? Yeah, see, otherwise, I mean, look at these poor mother truckers living under the ground, man. They're going down like fleas. Human beings need sunlight. Human beings are made of sunlight. So's our Mother Earth and the whole universe around us, made by sunlight. Without sunlight, we couldn't see none of it. I don't care. Listen, if it don't shine, nobody else dare, you know, because the sun's right there, you know, at the center of us, at the center of the universe, man. There, got it off my chest at last. Now I can give you my best, okay? The sunlight coming from my heart, helping you awaken, rise in that multi-dimensional sort of way here at Spring Crick. And yeah, ooh, and now I got a horse heart back in me again, I'd say, since I met my old soul brother there on the gravel roads of life yesterday, man. I hope that boy come back to me someday, man. You know, that'd be really awesome if he just popped up and says, hey, buddy, take me. You know, my heart was almost wrenched right out of my chest yesterday, because after we'd connected like that, what I described a little few minutes ago there, where me and this horse that I just recognized the energy right away just driving by. And anyway, we really connected. And as I'm finally pulling away, I mean, like I say, I'm a little shy about messing with other people's animals. You got to be a good guy in this world, not give them any idea that you want to take their animal away or something. But anywho, it's like, wow, as I'm pulling away, I see in my rearview mirror this guy comes galloping down the pasture and whinnying for me and not want me to go anywhere. I pulled my heart right out of my chest. But you know what? I didn't feel like I was leaving him behind. I felt like I was taking him with me, you know, my old soul brother. Because he is. He's one of my spirit animals, one of my spirit guides that comes to me as a horse every now and then, you know. And this is one that I've been waiting for, man. It's a beautiful. And if this is the only time I see him, hey, I know he exists. I know he's got a good life and he'll be all right, okay? You know, I don't have to have him. You know, it's just good to know he's there, you know, and that he's rocking and rolling and having a good life. I sure wish they'd do something about those flies on his back, etc. But he looked well cared for. His little hooves were trimmed up. His hair was shiny. His body was nice and muscular and just the right amount of bulk, you know what I mean? He's well fed, in other words, and he's shined. So, you know, and I'm sure if you saw that picture over there on my Facebook page, like I said, after the show today, I'll transport it over to Spring Crick, so you'll get it there too. Okay? Because we just got to spread the love, share the wealth. See, it's these kind of recognitions. When you don't deny them in yourself, oh, that's impossible, can't be, you know. When you just let it go with the flow. So you don't have anything trying to redefine it for you. Instead, you just see what is. That's the flow. And it's real simple like that, you know. I mean, as I was driving by, I says, there's my horse. You know, because I just saw him out there in that sagebrush field, let's say. It's about 80 acres he's roaming around on. I don't know if there's a house attached to it or not. Like I said, I didn't see any shelter for the poor fella. Now, a horse can stand out in the rain. He's okay. But it's not pleasant for him. Would you like it? No. See, so you got to give him a little shelter too, baby. He probably had some somewhere. That was such a vast little tract, it's hard to see all of it, you know. Especially with sagebrush growing up as well as it does out in that little section of the country. That means you got some real fertile ground underneath you there, ma'am. When the sagebrush gets tall like that, yeah, see? And he's got some nice, soft little new green grass coming up between those sagebrushes. And I'm sure that's part of what's keeping him this purty as all get out. When I was a kid, for example, you know, I've seen this poor animal delivering feed out to this ranch way out in the middle of nowhere there in Utah. And I saw this poor horse about ready to fall over. It was all skin and bones and sway back and was losing its hair out of starvation. And man, I convinced the rancher to sell me that horse for a really cheap price. But I had to pay for him. And I wasn't even sure this horse was going to live, but I wasn't going to let him live like that. And it was another one of those I was so connected with, I just couldn't turn my back and say, okay, that's the way the guy's going to. No way. So I took him home with me, you know, later, of course. And, you know, got this horse on pasture, got it on a little grain ration and, you know, some good alfalfa for supplements, you know. And son of a gun, in 3 months, this thing blossomed out to one of the prettiest little golden roans you ever saw in your life. We called him Egita, and he's like a gelding, you know, but, wow, what an animal. He was very similar to the magic of that first horse in my life that I used to get up there. Well, I'll tell you the place with this ranch over there in Utah that we used to do some thrashing for and some other work too. Whenever we were up there and I wasn't required as part of the crew, then I got to go ride the animal, that beautiful soul brother horse of mine, you know. And I considered him mine because it was in my heart. It's like I consider this one mine in my heart, but it's not a possessive thing. It's my brother that I work with, you know. And so even though now I probably, you know, am not going to see that animal again, or maybe I will, but I mean, it's probably not coming my way. It's, you know, obviously whoever owns it cares for it, or it wouldn't be in such great shape, you know, and so I'm not even going to try. But at the same time, you know, we got this vibe together, and I'm going to keep that going. Me and that horse are riding together right now, as if we had never parted, you see. It's in my heart. It's created that way. And that doesn't mean I have to have that animal in my life again. Sure would be sweet though, wouldn't it? And I think that horse would sure like it too. He really bonded with me again. Gosh, it's amazing. I know you go through that bonding process sometimes with your pets and so forth, you know. It's amazing how that works. But with a horse, because they're such magical animals to begin with, to bond with one of those is just one of the most, that's why I still hung on to my cowboy leanings from my early days, and all the horses and ponies and so forth to go with it, man, because it's like, wow. I mean, I was so connected with that dimension of life. Wow. There wasn't too many horses I couldn't calm down, gentle down, and get them to where they'd be rideable by just about anyone. Sometimes it would take a little time, but boy, human beings have really been, I mean, the old cowboy way was rough, you know, and all about dominance and making them do what you want them to and so forth. It wasn't about partnership and getting along well and, you know, learning the horse well. He's smart enough to know where he needs to go, but he doesn't always know where you want to go. So you got to learn to work together, see, so you don't fight over it. You know, and that's how you get them out of all their little quirks and stuff. It's just pure love. Because other people are going to abuse the animals. That's the way they came up. So they come up with some quirks, man. And, you know, a lot of folks do it innocently. They don't know they're hurting the animal. They just don't know any better, you know. There's a whole tribe of horses here in Crestonia I know about that, you know, don't get very good handling here, but yet the people there are so sweet and loving to those animals. The animals are okay, you know. They're not being too big of pigs. A little bit. And, you know, I mean, you let them get away with something, well, they're going to continue to until you say, well, maybe we should not do it that way. Suggest to them in a rather strong way as to an alternative, you know. In other words, you know, when you're handling these big animals like that, you know, you got to have a bit of a firm hand. Yeah, you got to be confident in yourself, and the horse has to know to trust you, so that he won't resist, see? Like, for example, you need to lead him away from somebody that's going to kick him because you just threw in a fresh bale of hay and that one's there to fight about it right now. You see, or something like that. You know, if they just know that you know, that whatever you're doing is for they just love you enough to let you get away with it anyway. They don't have to sit there and figure it. They just go with your flow. Because they trust you, they work with you harmoniously for the most part. Just like any other animal in your life, there could be some exceptions, you know. Sometimes they'll step on your toes when you're out of line, stuff like that. Sometimes they'll, you know, pull a little mischief on you. But I'll never forget the time I was up on a mountain there in southern Oregon with my son, Denver, who is another really, really excellent horseman. In fact, he's so good with all animals that, you know, it's hard to keep him away from him. The kid had his own petting zoo with a bunch of friends of his and stuff. He did all right. But he and I were out riding when we had this trail string, and we were looking for some new trails. We found on a map, but trying to find that on the ground sometime, well, if it ain't been used in a while, it gets covered over pretty quick. So we wound up, you know, up above this horseshoe canyon with a bunch of cliffs, you know, around it. And I couldn't see any way down through them, a trail anywhere. And without you walk clear out to the end of it and go around them, you know. And that was quite a distance. So the only way out of there really was back up the mountain where we came. And it was pretty steep. It was like about 75, 80% grade, you know, lots of trees, you know, but really deep, thick soil, you know, just rich stuff you find in the forest there, you know. And so many things growing in that, you know. Well, we turned around, started heading back up the mountain in 3 seconds flat, or almost. We were pooped out. But, you know, trying to lead a horse and the horse trying not to run over you, trying to work together in a situation like that was really difficult because you couldn't move because your feet would sink. And so you're like climbing against yourself all the time, having to pull your feet out and climbing up that steep grade, you know, and then trying to handle the animal behind you. And I just sat on the ground and shit, you know. And old Gal, the pony I was riding, well, I call her a pony. She's a full-size horse, but I call all my horses ponies. That just seems a better term, friendlier, you know what I mean? So anyway, old Gal, she looks at me right in the eye, and I hear her voice plain as day, man. Old man, throw those reins up over this saddle and grab onto my tail, and I'll get you out of here. And I looked at her and I said, well, okay, let's do it that way. And I tossed those reins up over her saddle and I got around the back. And, you know, now she's the kind that would never, ever kick me because she knows it'd kill me. And she liked me, you know, enough that she didn't want to see me, you know, injured or dead. So you could trust her. And I grabbed on her tail, and she started up the mountain, and I started taking great big giant steps right behind her, and my son did the same thing with his animal, and away we went, man. We'd back up that mountain in no time flat, man, and easy, too. They just dodged around trees, and got us a nice broad path. I mean, excellent. Excellent. You see, it's all about working in partnership with your animal. That's what, see, and as you do that, you begin to realize the union of hearts with creation, not just with this one animal. But you see how much creation represented in this horse or this dog or this kitty cat or whatever it is that's working with you this day is like telling you of the fuller way, of the presence of all life and how greatly it really wants to see you succeed if you just don't beat up on it anymore. And quit beating up on yourself too. When you learn to go with the flow, you get an animal you can trust, and it can trust you too. Don't you know? See, that's why I have these dreams. I need to put together a little gathering center. That's why I kind of go these little back roads sometimes. I'm looking for a place, where the tribe can land, and we can have a little rock and roll medicine show going on there all the time, or a sanctuary where people can come and heal themselves, get their heart back together, and maybe find some of these connections I'm talking about. Help you reiterate yourself into creation. I never realized how much of an animal communicator I was when I was young, but I've always been this way. And the animals have always loved me for the most part. Now, there are those so traumatized, they don't care who you are. You're dead meat if they get you. Or they're going to have it their way, one way or another. Oh, my goodness. They can be so traumatized. And the behaviors that come as a result of that. Wow. If people only knew what they were doing, they wouldn't treat their animals so rough. They'd learn this partnership that I'm talking about. Doesn't mean you give up, we got to go here, not there, kind of thing. But you give up any kind of control over the animal or over the situation. You learn to work with the animal, and you'll have animals work with you just like old Gal did when she pulled me up that mountain. Well, part of this little sanctuary I want to put together here as a gathering place, there will be maybe not an official coffee shop, but there will be a great big old dining room somewhere where we can have music and all kinds of good stuff going on. So we will have regular attractions to bring people in and help finance the situation, because I'm not like no gazillionaire. I live on social insecurity, and that's not a whole lot, But we can do this thing, just dreaming it into being. I think me and that horse connecting, that pony, let's say, connecting yesterday was part of getting this thing underway, part of the energy we need to gather together to make it all happen. I don't know if you've noticed this in your life, but these connections with animals and so forth, nature, let's say, is just part of it. Throughout this life, we've been going around reassociating ourselves with different beings and energies in different places, led there by something we couldn't even see clearly or understand, but we knew we wanted to go there, and we went, and we did, and we met, and so forth. And now you look at it and you can see that, in a rather dumbed down sort of way, you were being led around by some angelic presences. There are some forces like that, call them what you will, to reassemble all the elements of yourself in this creation, to go around and recognize the tribe you're most close to, energetically. The ones that represent you and your original heart too. I mean, there is an energetic family like that, You got to think about it. It's the creation starts at the center and expands outward in all directions from there. And of course, it's constantly increasing itself then and increasing the experience, which brings forward even more of the joyous thing I call the orgasmic existence, you see, which just causes it to create and create and create ever more. And create all the experience it could ever be, which is part of why we're here in 3D, for the adventure of it, but also for the life lessons of it, for learning to be real with ourselves and rocking with nature and everything else that exists with her, this mother love, you see, the creative urge that can't help itself, but nurture life into being again and again and again, and help it, if it tumbles over and falls down, bring it around. This is the mother love. It never lets go. Not ever, And it's not based through some authoritarian D-head in the sky or in your heart or anywhere else. There is no authoritarian reality. That's the superficiality of 3D. So that authoritarian God, that big daddy in the sky or big daddy in your heart, however you see it, well, you can conceive of it that way so you can have it that way. But guess what? It's the mother love with the father inside of that heart, which we call the son. Always the son. Direct light. That's how we begun. See, and that brings the waters of life forward here at Spring Creek. Yeah, the original waters. And you take a little sip. Of course, there's that cactus growing right alongside of it with its beautiful little blossom expressing a clarifying fragrance. Ooh, once you sniffed it, once you got that little teeny bit of cactus fragrance in your drink of water, oh my goodness, you're going to see things quite differently. Set yourself free here in the 3D, and learn how to be living with what lives with you instead of fighting and resisting and have to buy it out and beat it up or whatever it's been that you've been doing, man. It's time to get through with that shit. Get on with it, man. Be the creation that you are and create. And baby, that's why we got to have this gathering center here in South Central Colorado someplace, man. And I believe you me, I've got my eyes open. But I'll just let the angels, the heart guide me, just go with the flow. And when it's ready, it's ready, And it will be a thing because I've seen it happening already, It's happening all around me anyway in a smaller sort of way. So, it's beautiful. And just go with the flow of your heart. Go where it tells you to go. But we're going to provide some real opportunities for you here in South Central Colorado as we go along. And I think a horse rescue will be part of it too, because of all the poor neglected animals out there that people can't afford to feed, etc., or can't afford to take care of, etc. They need a place to go. They need to know that there's still a lot of love for them, that we still honor and respect and greatly appreciate the horse energy in our life, Well, we might even get a little dog rescue going too, because that's another element. He gets so mistreated. But a horse rescue for sure, just because that's healing, not just for the animal, but for the people that come and participate with those animals. See? So this is going to be some kind of a working ranch on top of everything else, because I've always had that kind of elemental dream in my heart, and I've actually had it in my hands a time or two, but let it slip away as life can be, man. But here we are now at the time when it can really work finally. All the other ones were just experiences designed to train me into a grander form of expression later on and help the family come together, help people, even those that are really wounded, because now I have facility for them. They wouldn't have to hang out with others and create misery until they found some peace within themselves. We'd have that kind of space in a place like this, where people could actually go and learn to live with themselves first and foremost, and then learn how connected we are with our creation, and how it's there to instruct us back into the full presence, the full conscious presence of ourself and each other's heart, all the way throughout creation, you see. That's the mother love, which is the father too, okay? But the father is more like the mother. They're not separated. They never were. They never were divided. That's a human thing. That's a pollution we took into ourselves a long time ago. But we're becoming unpolluted. We're getting clear. We're stepping out of the haze, dear, into the bright daylight of the sun, okay? And starting to find out it shines in more than one way, doesn't it? Okay, baby. Got a lot more to play here on this hazy radio sort of way as we get Spring Crick underway. The Rockin' Is Radio show you ever come to hear and experience, because, baby, you can see it, live it, feel it, and be it. This here radio show, because it's multi-dimensional, and it is, in fact, in the flow. Even, some of the slime dogs that have been rowdy and bad around know that now, don't they, man? They spied on the wrong channel and got the right energy, you see. We're bringing them all back to their heart, baby, one way or another. Getting it clear, dear. Hazy radio sort of way. Like that fresh drink of water here at Spring Creek, man. Just boiling up inside, man. This good feeling. This is, man, I can take this right. And babies, I've been on it for a long, long time. Haven't I, man? When you look back, oh my goodness, you see what's coming, man. Because you know what you've done and you know where you ain't been and where you ain't going no more, baby. You're getting in that flow, darlings. You see, you're starting to trust the heart. Is it like that trust that builds up between you and an animal, like, horse, pony as I call them, ponies I should say. Because we're talking today about this one I significantly reconnected with yesterday, which on my visionary trail, if you got to call it that. I don't know what else to call it. You call it what you will. What would you call it? Mystical trail. There we go. That's far more polite and not so braggadocious. See, even ego can be satisfied with that one. How about that, man? Because I don't have like a separate ego no more. That's true, baby. I got into flow. Horse taught me how, man, and how. So will your connection with animals retrain you in the way to be and the way to do what you've come here to do, which is to expand and grow and pack in as much experience as you can, don't you know? The high adventure of the soul, the high adventure of the heart. Going places other folks wouldn't even dream of being because you're not afraid, You're not alone, man. You got the company of angels. You got the company of ancestors. You know what's going on in your bloodstream. Your little mind has been full of shit most of the time, but you're starting to refine that shit down to its basic elements with the flame of love, baby. And you're getting it. You're going to grow the richest garden this earth has ever seen. It's the reblossoming of life. It's the Genesis moment, see? Just like in that old 3D movie we call, what was that, Star Trek, number 45 or something, where they dropped a little love bomb on a planet. Instead of blowing it all to hell, it brought it back to life. It blossomed into paradise. Well, that's exactly what we're doing here, babies, as we start to get it clear. Rising up in our heart. You see, your heart's calling you. Maybe there, maybe here to Crestonia. You see, I'm thinking about doing a little event, maybe at Soul Space, Colorado, our little buddy Barbara Joy. Now, I mean, how can you go wrong with a what do you call it, a hostess, goddess, taking care of you like Barbara Joy, Barbara Joy. I mean, Barbara Joy. I mean, the Beach Boys would have a lot of fun with her, wouldn't they? Well, so will you, baby. And me too, man. We'll do some little, retreats there or something, man. This is the medicine of heart and soul. And it includes everything, don't you know? Its tribe is the tribe of humanity, but beyond that, it's the vibe of all life. The symphony of the heart, which I call the song of the heart. In which each of us plays a part, singing it in a rockin' sort of way, man. Oh, I can hardly wait to live that multi-dimensional expression once again and sing with them angels. Man, they have showed me, man, many times, but at least once that I can profoundly remember, where I heard them singing in 17-level harmony, as I would call it. It's impossible to describe it beyond that, and that's just giving it a number. And when they were done with their little number, and I looked at it and said, wow. And they say, baby, humans can do better than us. You're created for it. You're the songstresses and singers of creation. You're the place where, see, this is what the rock and roll and the rock stars are here for, man, to bring us back to life. That's why there's so much medicine back in the day, the late 60s and on through the 70s there and into the 80s too. Ooh, darling, it's still expanding from there. You may not see it that way, but you will as it takes you right along with it too. It's a tsunami of conscious presence coming forth inside of each human being that lives. You see, and just like me, you're not going to be able to see your ego as a separate party or something you need to kill or destroy much longer. In fact, you can embrace that as a very astute and sacred part of yourself. Another branch on the blossoming tree of life, baby, and that's all it is. It's not evil. It chose to see itself that way for a while now, didn't it? We allowed it. We allowed the feeling of separation, but we feel it now, joined at the trunk of our heart, which is where the root of love begins and goes right into the mother's heart through this earth upon which we're living. Yeah. Loving this life that we're given because Mama says, blossom, babies, it's your turn now. School's out. It's over with. Now you can get on with a real life. Expand and grow in that multi-dimensional way. That's what rock and roll is here to get you to do. Get out and play in that creative sort of way. So you notice when a little bit of this boogie-woogie, hairball, hairband stuff comes your way, man, just sweeps you up off your feet. You cannot help but get up and dance your tiny little feet on that mattress now, can you? Well, best you get on the floor because you might fall off, don't you know? It ain't exactly a trampoline, man. Oh, baby, you might have the balance for it. I've got friends out there that walk those flat lines, you know, little skinny line between two big peaks on a mountain. I'm going, oh, shite. And I thought I was crazy hang glide. These guys put me to shame, man. I tell you. But it's all in the game. It's all in what you're ready for and how confident you are in yourself in doing it. When you know you were built for it, baby, it's just as natural as the flow of a stream of the water of life that nurtures everything into being. I mean, come on, kids. It's real. That's the flow you feel when you're getting it together like with a big old pony like that. Especially an elegant one like that boy I met yesterday. Oh, my goodness. What a gorgeous horse, man. You know, I'll have to put him up on video, too. I'll put him everywhere, man. His heart calls to me. You know, I tell you, driving away from that noble person was not easy. Not easy, especially when I seen him running after me. I couldn't believe it at first. But then I understood, you know, and it's like, you know, it's like that long, lonely ache that human beings have carried with them forever, and the wolf and the coyote have taken the song of into themselves and sung for us when we couldn't even sing it, you know. Well, it's like that. It's like that ancient longing, you know. It's like there's a partnership there that was long ago established, probably even before this life, and way beyond that too, you know. Because I've been around a time or two. I didn't even believe in past life until I began to experience them in retrospect, you know, when the little memories would start come bubbling up into my conscious presence, and I could see and live these moments from some of my lives, you know. She's a weasel, man. Now that's when you start to realize it's a continual flow. And then little by little, after, you know, the mysticals revealed that to you, it starts to reveal the real aspects of time. And babies, you know, as you grow, you start to realize that in every life you've been through pretty much the same kind of medicine. Because it is a rising spiral. And as we go around this spiral, living alive, in and out we say, but you know, it's just a spiral. But as we come into the humanity, we live a very similar energy in every life because their position on that spiral is at the same point on the roundness of it, you know. So 2/3 of the way around you drop in, you know, and that's usually your drop in place, and you'll live 35 to 180 years or something like that, and then you'll drop back out again, you know. But in each one of those lives, and it doesn't matter the span of time that it takes because time is timeless. You know, when you're looking at it this way, it's all one gathered together moment. But we stretch it out in time so we can get the experience of it, you know, so we can feel the gritty nature of it. Get our roots down in a real deep way, in a real deep life. And it takes a little bit of guttural nonsense, and that's what we've been through here in this 3D to get us there. We had to let it really get out of hand before we could start to understand, man, the flow in everything. You see, this is why we, you know, all of us are feeling that ancient call. Same way me and that horse do right now, man. You know, we're like together, and we will be forever. But we want to bring our physical presences together too, and now maybe the universe will conspire in some way to make that happen. If they do, I'm okay with that, man. I love my heart. I love what it brings to me. I love what I've got already. You know, I mean, I am surrounded by beautiful angelic presences all the time. My life is so full, you know, that it's just overflowing, man. That's why I have to do this radio show. I have to share that flow with you day in and day out. If I don't do it, I get all stopped up and start falling over backwards and stuff, you know. But it's just like that ancient need we're talking about. But we're also fulfilling that need right now. Because inside of ourselves, we realize we've always had that fulfillment. We've been together forever. Inside of ourselves as a singular presence. As the person that we are. We can embrace that. Yes, that form, that expression, that human experience. Yes, yes, yes. Embrace that. Love that. Be that. Love whatever you're made into, man. You know, however morphodite it might got a bit in this reality. And sometimes it really gets out of hand, doesn't it? But just embrace what you are. And you become even more of it. You understand what I mean? If you love what you got, you know what you're getting. And it's a whole lot more, man. And it's not bad medicine anymore. It's the kind that brings you around, It'll astound you what happens. As our bodies lighten up, their form and figurement changes. They become far more elegant and flowing than they were before. As beautiful as these creations have been, it comes even better than this, to where you can even gaze upon a male presence and not be affected by the old feelings. Oh my God, how come he's not beautiful like me? Now it all flows together, see. And our whole relationship with one another, of course, reaches a great point of change, where we no longer choose to experience in that hungry kind of, I don't know how to exaggerate it or how to unexaggerate it, because it is so exaggerated in this world. But where we've gone before, we go no more. What we do now is establish the flow. We get ourselves to some place where we could be collected together like we never have before, because now we understand that in our life we've gone around and assembled pieces of our heart back together. In each relationship we've had, in every encounter with any other person we've ever known, including the animals, the plants, birds, trees, the landscape, the reality. It's all perfectly designed to bring us back together in this lifetime. And bring us back together with those we love, those we have spent eternities with, and remain with forever, way beyond time. Family that is, energetically created of the same vibration, You got in your orchestras and your rock bands, you got the rhythm guitar, you got the bass guitar, you got the acoustics, you got the violins and tubas and the kettle drums and the piccolos and everything else that goes with it, see. And each one of them has their own little specialty and resonating vibration. Wow, see, and that's our tribe. We're in that section, but we're also part of the grander orchestra, which is literally creating and singing, because we do both. We can play a horn and sing at the same time. Watch us do it, babies. I'm telling you, the angels have shown me. And I know they're showing you right now, too, because you're softening up really good. I like that, baby. That's how you expand. That's how you grow. You let it soften you up. You start to see it more expansively. Start to understand the flow in this creative orchestra. This rock and roll band that's made of a gazillion pieces, man, It just goes on forever. The symphony that it creates can never end. It's always just beginning. It's always just building up. Just getting there, man, and going with the crescendo of the flow, man. That's when the tsunami roll, man. That's when the nuclear explosion of recreation comes forward. And it is recreation such as you've never known before, except a long, long, long time ago in time, which is really the same moment of now and how. Here at Spring Crick, the headwaters, your moment of truth, baby. Flowing this original water of love through you, to you, from you, and around you, and all over you, from 9,000 feet high in the Rocky Mountain sky. Oh yeah, Grandpa Coyote, he know how to fly, babies, Speaking of which, in this little gathering place, now we're gonna put together a Crestonia Air Force, man. Not fighter planes, not jets, not Cessna 150s or 182s or any of that. No, no, no. We're the gentle soul, man. We're the gentle rock. We're the gentle rope. We like to experience our creation in a way that's really mellow. And we're not in any hurry to get anywhere. We just want to fly. We just love being high in the fly zone, man. Because then you can get on the days, which are very rare here, but on the days when the weather's perfect, you can glide. You can take these little ultralight hang gliders or these little ultralight electric powered motor gliders of one sort or another. Even some of the regular little ultralight airplanes will do this, but you get yourself up there in the sky a little. It's all electric now, and it's getting more and more developed all the time. The batteries are getting thinner and lighter. I'm dreaming of solar powered little tiny airplane with big wings so you can fly up where? Over these mountains. And remember where your heart begins, where the flow begins. See, it's difficult for many of us to hike such a steep and ruggedy path and take all the chances you have to take to bring our body back there. So sometimes, being up there in the atmosphere and flying over is good enough, dear, now, isn't it? Because it gets us there, and it lets us experience that way of being, which so many of us just ignore. We love the beauty of it, the spectacular nature of it, but we really don't understand it till we're right there in it. That flows in us, that original place. See, it's way up high in the Rocky Mountain sky, so to speak. Now, that's a huge metaphor, but it means what it says, don't you know? See, and flying up over those things, wow, and how, man. It's an experience that all of us have got to have at one time or another. Till we grow our angel wings, don't need them no more. You see, well, there's another way to get in the flow, and we get a little rancho. We'll put something like that on it, man. We'll get somebody to come there, put up a little, what would you call it? A dealership. Yeah, the commercial ship, but not too much of it, man. Because we'll just have like rentals and stuff. We'll form a flight club or something. We'll make it really cheap for everybody. You know what I mean? That's the appeal of those ultralights. Plus, there's a genuine lack of regulation. I mean, there's places you cannot fly, etc., and conditions under which, and you can only fly in the daytime, and so on and so forth. But you don't need license. And an idiot could go buy one and fly it that day and probably die it that day too. So we won't do that. We'll have, people there to help us along the way and get us competent before we go taking off by ourselves, okay? And Grandpa knows the way. I've been an old flyer. I'm an old pilot too, In this lifetime, it's been more of a little hobby that just pops up every now and then. I get to go flying again, but, in the other lifetimes, I actually was a pilot, At least I have memories of that. Now, I might have been tuning into somebody else's tune. I don't know, but it sure seemed like that was me living that life. See? When you're living here in the 3D, you don't want to be too vivid. I mean, you want to be vivid, but not too square-cornered about your perception of the lifetimes you might remember, For example, now, I've met, probably 1,000 Jesuses reincarnated, or people that thought genuinely lived as if they were, or thought they were, or whatever. You know what I mean? And just as many Mary Magdalene's or Mother Marys, too, And babies, that's in all of us. I mean, there isn't any of us greater than the next. You understand that? So you make a mistake when you put these people way up there as if they've done something that's unachievable and only through them can we find it. Well, through understanding what they are, yeah. Not through some religious practice or dogmatic ways, not because you lived a clean and moral life, bullshit. Everybody screws up, man. But that's the way we learn and grow. And nobody needs to take it rigid anymore. Love wants us to be full and expressive, as consciously present in life as we can possibly be. In other words, to experience the joy of every singular moment in life. All of it. And then you hear the song of creation. Then you are the song of the heart again. See, we go back to beginnings, the original places, the original waters here at Spring Crick. The rock and roll radio show bringing you back to life, don't you know? Because it's bringing me back to life too, man. Back to that edge again, back away again. And when you come back, every time you've been there, you think about it. You come back a little more present in yourself. Great little process. It's a little screwy, a little difficult to take in this reality, yes indeed. Sometimes you just feel like throwing up your hands and saying, bullshit, no more of this, man. But you just keep going. And somehow you realize you're far more sturdy than you ever knew yourself to be. And that's what some of these rough lives prove to us. Don't you see? How durable our sweetheart is. And how misconvoluted it can be, but it's not the heart. The heart is always right there, steady. Just like this one in the physical presence by, continually keeping that heartbeat up, the blood pressure and all that stuff, nurturing the body, in other words, making sure the flow is, the real conscious presence, the center heart, and that is the same way. It's just making sure, and it works just as automatically, too. When you tune into that, you tune into life, tune into love. Sometimes I advocate what I call the belly button practice. To remember your belly button, your navel cord that connected you to your mother that has been suspended now, supposedly in the 3D. But in that is the suggestion of your reality. You can thread your life, your energy, through all your ancestral chains, clear back to the one mother of love. Energetically, you can feel that presence of that one mother. Then you start to understand the larger side of life and how it's truthfully portrayed and experienced and how it comes into being through that divine feminine urge to create, in which we resolve everything we ever felt in our creation that seemed to be flowing against us in any way. It's divine harmony, man. It has its bass rhythm, it has its tribal beat, it has its high moments, it has its woo, guttural low moments, it has its solo performances, etc. You see, but it all adds up to the greatest production of music there could ever be. Because it's creative, don't you see? Flowing through the likes of you and me and little Okiwan Kenobi and all the coyotes in here out there, etc. Those that sing are here to bring our lives back into being. You see, and that's why it's important we, follow our heart and go to these places wherever we're drawn and gather together with like-minded hearts. As we'd say in the 3D, but really like-hearted people. People of the same vibrational harmony. Communes would never work before because they didn't have this refinement process in motion. If they did, it was usually in the background somewhere, you see. So it didn't always, and plus, the capability of human beings to establish a steady rhythm and harmony in their life, nowadays is far more greatly available to us than it ever was before. We can live in truthful harmony, in peace, in our little communities as we gather to create them. See, we're recreating this creation. We're stepping away from the square existence and getting it in the rounded out way, baby. So then we can understand expansion. When you got square corners, you got interference, and it misdirects the flow. That's why the water will wash away a square corner. You see, if the river made a right turn, the rocks was a little harder right there. It just keeps that heavy flow, baby. Eventually, it's all got to go, and the river gets a little easier turn, you see. It don't like slamming up against things, but if it does, it wears them out. You see, same way love does. Steady and consistently, working its way back to the proper channels of life, which are rounded out, by the way. And they don't really have mathematics in them the way we portray it here, but it is a synchronistic existence. The same way the harmony that creates it is. Can you hear that song in your heart now? Feel it starting to resonate forward? Can you appreciate then your experience here? Love yourself for it, dear? Oh, yeah. Then you start to get it clear. You realize it's not just you. And it's not even about you, yet you are the very center of it, too. Ooh, a little Twizzler from your old grandpa's heart. Help you spingle and spangle your way through this next little musical piece of tuna we're going to play, okay? Here on the Hazy Radio Network, doing it in the Coyote way early in the day. With Grandpa Coyote, Okiwan Kenobi, and Spring Crick flowing through you, baby. Right to you, right from you, to you.